he responded to us doing this by saying childhood indoctrination. Get them while they're too young to have critical thinking skills. Now, this is, of course, epic cynicism, in my opinion, but how do you answer, someone who's coming from this perspective? Like, what would you say to Josh?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard this one over and over and over from the last few years because as an apologist focused on what we're teaching our kids, this is a favorite complaint that comes from a lot of skeptics is, hey, you're just indoctrinating your kids. And unfortunately, I actually hear a lot of Christians respond to something like this, and they're well-meaning about it, but they say, you're right, I am indoctrinating my kids, and I'm proud of it. I'm always going to give them good doctrine. But that's not what we're talking about when we talk about the word indoctrination. So just dictionary definition, basic definitions here, is indoctrination is teaching someone to uncritically accept certain ideas and not expose them to any other ways of thinking. So, am I indoctrinating my kids? Are Christians indoctrinating their kids? Well, it depends on the family. You could find a Christian family that is indoctrinating their kids because they're only teaching their kids about Christianity. They're not exposing them to other ideas, and they're teaching them, hey, this is the only thing you're allowed to hear. That's indoctrination. I cannot speak for any individual household as to whether or not they're indoctrinating their kids. But in the same way, an atheist family can indoctrinate their kids into a secular way of thinking and an atheistic worldview and all the logical implications that come with that. And so an atheist family can indoctrinate their kids just as much. The bottom line on this is that indoctrination is a problem with how you teach someone something, and it's not inherently related to any particular belief system. This is so important to understand. It's not what you're teaching, it's how you're teaching it. And I think we've talked about quite a bit in this video that I bring up all kinds of challenges to Christianity in the book. In fact, the theme across all of my books is to expose parents and expose kids to all these challenges so that they can think about them, so that they can learn to think critically about everything that they're hearing. So a lot of times people assume critical thinking means that you have come to one particular conclusion, but that's sort of the opposite of critical thinking. We're talking about a process here and having kids understand what people believe, why they believe it, and how do we evaluate these things. So am I indoctrinating my kids? I personally know I'm not because I'm exposing them to lots of other ideas, but I cannot speak for any individual household.
Mm-hmm. Good answer. I like it. I don't have anything else to add. So that is so accurate. You're giving great distinctions. Great distinctions. I think it just, if you read between the lines, it comes down to a bias against religious beliefs, which is because of atheist indoctrination. I think that a tweet like that is a result of indoctrination, just like "Don't judge me" is a result of using hypocritical judgment. Same kind of thing. So. Anyway, it may seem harsh, but it's true. So I said it anyway. All right, we have